We're gonna look at the camera and each other, so it's like three of us. All right. Nice warm June day. Yeah, right. So here I am with this beautiful human being who I am honored to call my friend, Gem. Also known as,
My phone.
also known as,
The Gem Press.
anything else?
So many. We'll leave it there.
So, Jeb and I met a few months ago while social dancing, which is a story in and of itself. But for all intents and purposes, in this particular podcast, I wanted to be. I see Jem as having many gems. She's more like a treasure chest to me because she has so much wisdom, so much real life experience that so many people listening can benefit from, including myself. So I'm very humbled and very honored and really grateful because for many days I've been wanting this to happen. Even last time we met, we were like, oh, maybe we'll do a podcast. We just ended up talking. Lord knows we can talk for a long time.
And the stories. Yeah. Endless.
Yeah, so this, the intention is to share the stories that we're now gonna bring up with you folks.
Ask me.
Ask you anything.
And
Wow, that's brave. She said anything. um, where are you in life? How old are you? And how would you describe your life?
It's funny, you asked age, and like that's the time I got nervous. And my hair was all over, so everything coming around. I don't even keep track. I think I'm 36, literally. I don't know.
36 going on like 1,000.
Yeah, it feels like forever. And young at the same time.
And young at the same time, yeah.
Yeah, I'm 36, born and raised in Stargrove with a lot of so it gave me.
Where in Jamaica?
Ooh.
By the beach, man.
I would.
I would too.
I will leave it at Kingston.
Oh,
It's like Kingston. Like,
Kingston.
definitely a notorious area.
Wow.
So it's yeah, it's been with trucks.
Yeah.
Trucks.
Yeah.
It's larger book companies.
Okay.
So the best thing is good.
Syrian and Jewish.
Yeah. She looks Filipino.
Does that make you Jewish?
Yeah. By
What?
kind of German.
That's so wild. Talk about not judging a book by its cover. Would you have guessed? Syrian, Jewish, Chinese.
Yeah, and then
And- yeah.
my father, he's passed. He was dark skinned and has Cuban lineage.
And
Cuban, wow.
Scottish
Scottish.
English.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
there's been a lot of strong influences. If you can imagine
Yeah.
the Asian, Jamaican,
Yeah.
British upbringing
Yeah.
was very.
And Scottish too.
So
I think
yeah,
of Braveheart. Wow.
it's definitely. And Jamaica has filled me with so much culture.
Yeah.
Jamaica's a gift.
What a rich background. I'm sorry. I'm just taking it all in.
Well, that's how
Wow.
it all comes together, you know. Yeah. School was in Scarborough. You know, went to a Catholic elementary school, Catholic high school, Mary Board, for those who know. Very unique experience.
Unique.
Yes, it's actually a unique. I wonder if the woman who I don't know what
Points. Back trash shut
they
down
lived with
next year.
very
In my
very demanding.
Wow.
But that allowed for me to be around very cheaper. Some of which are so it was in other ways. So really beautiful.
And not to jump topic, but one thing that just stands out, especially prior to us in board, the fact that you're a ninja.
Literally.
Literally.
On my way to Guadeloupe. But yes, I'm in training with Koryu, Taisha Ryu from Japan. And they're from the Korea. And they're both so many. Something in my from
How cool is that?
night.
Yeah.
Yeah, the plan. Something that it started with Shuri Village, and it was really it is no longer physical there. And it's been good. That way. And how long will you park?
So long.
And the reason is because I was training while being pregnant all the way up until my due date. And so I had this big belly and I'm yielding the slip and I'm practicing.
Oh my god.
And they said, just, it's okay, bring the kid to your families. And I'm okay. But we honor, in our culture, we honor family very much. Please, you can always begin again. You can home now, but again. And then I remember that something like this just developed in my children. It's an art form that you never learn. Even if others were to call it this way, but it's something that your student can learn. So there would be a problem
Yeah.
in beginning again.
Wow.
Because the concepts, the movements, fundamental, and like jack it off,
Yeah.
karate kid. Right? So
Yeah.
there's no life in starting again. So my cohort that I was training with, who were all family friends by now, and college and team members, and there's some it's beautiful. It's an art form that has such depth. It's at the moment of silence for that because there's no way I could describe the depth that we're talking about when it's in superheroes. And even in young class, you would understand, holy crap, this is going to be an ocean. And so I found it doesn't make sense from how we have been spending. I need things that are bigger than me.
Yeah, you would not be satisfied with anything but.
Yeah, so I mean, working backwards, one of the other loves of my life is Flamenco. And it's ironic because Flamenco has very similar movements. That's really between. So, very blatant.
And you learned flamenco different parts of the world.
Yes, and shout out to Esmeralda Enrique. Amazing legend of a human being that you ever, please, you ever get the chance to watch a flamenco performance. If you ever get the chance to watch an Enrique, he's Enrique. Esmeralda Enrique, leaving Monaco, right around the world, speaking with children, it is religious. It's what my experience in music, the dancing, and the gold. I'm just so grateful that I've had the chance to learn to do this in my life. Subscribe to Toronto. Yeah, for the most culture that's living there. Yeah, everybody. But for that, I was so many things.
Where to start?
So many things. I did co-op for radio people in high school, and that got me into things so much. I was on there with them, interviewing a lot of people. And then so I was dancing by that time. It was a hip hop group that's pretty well known, School Make. So we did a lot of videos. It was back in that era that so the building I lived in, that space was there, dancing was so
Jump off from What's wrong with you?
that no clue.
Yeah, you love it.
A lot of reggae artists I loved. And I went to near McLean in Canada. The Spaceman Studio. Martin recorded that.
What?
Yeah. And it was just surreal to
Wow.
be in there.
That's wild.
Yeah, there's a lot of connection towards Japan. And
I love that you can connect with so many different cultures, whether it's like Spain and flamenco, or ninjas from Japan, or beautiful singers from the islands. It's so great because you can connect deeply to them, right?
I do. I do. And it's beautiful, and it's also that creates difficulties of the world. It makes it impossible for these to be able. It's overwhelming. People think they go because there's so or just stand back a little and say, hey, kind of get lost or at home and maybe stand fine with you. So I accept my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm getting a vision of you as if you're the storm. You're the storm that most people cannot understand. You're laughing because it resonates somewhere.
Okay.
So, and I mean that with so much reverence and love, because people find confusion around storms. They find their own fears come up. Uh, it's not something that's the norm, and yet this are this life behind. And you're this beautiful, serene storm that there you are. Why I say that? Because you also have these two beautiful. One of them right here. Didn't you want to say hi?
Say that.
Come here, sweetheart.
You're live on YouTube.
Want to say hi?
Hi.
This is my beautiful friend Idris.
I
Tell them how old you are.
am 8 years old.
What would you like to see them?
It's about life. Any advice?
Any advice?
listeners?
Are you comfortable, by the way?
Hard times out there for many people. Anything
Yeah.
you want to say to them?
Well, it all depends on how you do things in the world. Like my understanding of the world, it's depending on what you do, how you do it, of how your experience is gonna be. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
That's deep.
You want to tell people if they want to say hello to you, how they can? You can.
You can reach me at on Instagram, and you can put at before I'm king, no spaces, and you can find me there. You can see all my videos, pictures, and enjoy.
Guys, this child is not any ordinary child. Children are beautiful. All children are amazing. And some children come into this world with a very strong intention to not be like everybody else, be able to really be a presence, if that makes sense. And Idris is one of those beautiful children. And I'm so honored to play my small part in his journey and to have him in my life and hopefully call him my friend. Thank you, Idris. Did you need anything or you're good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
That was a gift. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just on cue, right?
I know.
So yes, that's one of the beautiful children that Jem has in this lifetime, and the other one is incredible in and of himself. Hopefully, one of these days we bring him on.
Yeah. Little one.
Yeah,
Yes.
the little big one. That's what I would say because
So we're
his energy is so big, so massive.
born April 1st.
Yeah.
So,
Wow,
honestly,
and nobody's fool.
no.
That's for sure. Wow. So such an honor to know you, Jem, and to get to know your beautiful children, and to be like a small blimp in your story. And I'm really looking forward to see the waves that you're already causing. Because that's our life, right? It's a ripple effect, right? Butterfly effect, if you will. We're all impacting each other. When I see you, I'm reminded of who I am. And that to me is such a gift. You give me that gift. Idris gives me that gift. Both of them give me that gift. And I'm so grateful for that. And I know that at some point you will not be here in Toronto, whenever that will be. And I just want you to know that I consider you my family. You know, all of humanity is our family, but there's something really special.
You can compare.
Yeah, we speak the same language. You know, we can be speaking something, and it's like our souls are talking.
Yes.
We just lay back and enjoy while we tear up and cry and
It's
get goosebumps.
funny he's saying that because I just realized as you like smile that here there's still the remains of the tears of yours.
Yes.
It's like your teacher told you, but it's the real life. It's just
Yeah,
real
yeah,
life. There's nothing to do
folks.
about it. It's
I do
there.
wash my face in the morning.
No, it was just tears of like butterfly overcomingness and just recognition. Like you said, namaste, you know, bowing to the presence of the one in front of you. It's just, no Sunday for the show that really
Same,
yeah.
same.
Special day for me, guys.
Yeah, for both of us, I would say.
Yeah.
Both of us, because I get to be a witness of where you're at, who you've been choosing to be, that has brought you here. And you're listening, because it takes a certain person to have experienced so much of life, to see so much of the world, and yet be willing to listen. And be like, okay, maybe there's something here that I can learn, as we say, remember. It takes a certain amount of humility. And I acknowledge you for that as well, because you know, you're not just a mentor, you're not just a Flamenco dancer, you're not just the mother of these two amazing messengers. You're the amalgamation of all that times like 100. And yet I cannot put you in a box. I've said in the past you remind me of Oprah, and even that is putting you in a box. And I cannot do that, because your journey is your journey.
I'd like that one day I just remember that I am Jade. Kind of like how you think of Frida. You know,
Wow.
there's just so much. Idris is learning about what beautiful, and there's a comic book about her. I thought that beautiful. They related so much.
Tell me.
There was just such a moment in there, like there's something to nobody makes cool about when someone is doing this. I already knew about, you know, she said there was two mistakes that Mary said there was mistakes. And that mistake took the role, taking the other was pregnant with the leg.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that either.
Yeah, and she had lost a baby shortly after the same time. The accident happened. And that was when she decided to put the life. Like, just after the pregnancy, like, she pursued the life. And she was unable to take care of hospital research when they knew. It was back to Spain or somewhere, and they opted for her sister to team up with them. And then Diego ended up in an affair with my sister. It was just heartbreak after heartbreak. I relate to her. It's just there's something moving underneath her, and you can't really name it. It's deep, it's silent, it brings forth. I just got shivers. It brings forth water. So my name, and you do. You're like, no, that's so good.
Big forth from walls and dwelling in peace. Wow. Wow. That is what Gemini.
I shook her. And she, yeah, yeah. And she didn't even mean to do it at first.
Wow.
She just took the name. Her name's Jenny. JD. And her nickname's Rena.
Wow.
And the Jewish. Story.
You embody that name.
I
Do you
just
realize that? That's so beautiful.
only now we were talking about. I don't think there's been a moment in my life where I've sat and looked at, observed, and accepted all that. And then what we covered is wonderful sounds.
Yes.
There's
That.
so much. No, not for
Yeah.
accolades.
Right.
She give context. I was telling Ali.
Do you hear the owl, by the way? Sorry to cut you off.
I did. I guessed.
Wow. When do you hear an owl in the broad daylight? Only when Jem is speaking. Pearls of wisdom.
It's still.
Still there. Never in my life have I experienced this.
Oh, get used to it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Expect the unexpected. Look. Say, hear it again.
Yeah.
So amazing.
That's my life.
I saw an owl yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful in downtown Toronto. What a beautiful owl, black and gray. Wow. People were just like watching in admiration. Such a rare sight. That too in the middle of skyscrapers.
And that by where I am, I'm a little bit north of Toronto, I saw hummingbird.
Yeah.
A baby hummingbird. What? Just a few days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Nature speaks to us, and that is definitely something I realized. See, the conversation will go everywhere because that's the story. So you just got to fly.
You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful storm with rainbows built into it.
And the only, Ali, you asked me earlier if there's anything I wanted to say. Like you're having a therapy session. I just remembered one of my greatest wishes. I hope that someone in life, and perhaps that's the one that's really hard because that's the most promising. I know there is a person, I know there are people that can hold it, but someone to know how deep their depression goes. I feel like depending on where I am in the world, people expect a level of depth and they stop. And I'm like, just getting started. Know me, Alex, be with me. And it doesn't happen. And I'm the one who holds that, which is such a gift. But it feels unfair, it's well shared. It feels unfair if it's written up. You know what I'm saying? Wishes and you can realize it. You can still hard. Just like the time was visible, just raised its word. That over time you understand there's a million lives in just these short years. And it's, I do counseling, firm believer in counseling. Not taking mental health as the practice to it. I even give particular January certificates for free sessions for me. Because it's related to what God like that said. You just have to be more aware of where you are, where you need to be, and what you think of yourself.
Is it online or by phone or in person?
You can do counseling in person, online. I really support AFI and teleCBT and also social work. So this is where the space comes from. It's extremely affordable based on your income bracket. You don't even separate. You just say what you're able to.
Is there a huge waiting list?
Not at all.
Really?
Not at all.
Man, I should have seen you a long time ago because I heard that since COVID, it's been hard for a lot of people to get help with mental health. And there's a huge mental health crisis. And this is the first time I'm hearing that it's not hard to get help.
It's not hard to get help. So if you are feeling at odds with yourself, and you must feel at odds with yourself because the time we're in, it's such a changing time. We're working a brand new world. Structures that we've known for years are falling. We're witnessing genocide. We're witnessing slavery. We're watching Africa rise. We're watching the underdog finally find a voice. We're dealing with two-sided traumas in terms of just the offenders and the sufferers, and realizing my through these terrible things. There are my people suffered through these terrible things, and this could have been avoided. Or this is what my name meant. Or this is where the beloved area I love to play at this park actually represented. Or the simplest terms like people to know that in slavery, that meant the place we go to pick up an IGGO.
What?
The things that we are
No way.
discovering, yeah, and unveiling in this age of Aquarius. Don't lie to me and say, okay, can't be okay. How funny is? It's like there's something rumbling in there, and it's asking for you to pay attention. You know, so I think we're in the most beautiful time of all of this time to be here. Kind of like how I'm 88 born, so you know I got to see the internet, I got to see cassette tapes, like CDs, DVDs, MP3s, just that wave of like we're going from the Nokia phones. It is slow, and it's a very sweet spot in history, and emotionally, in terms of intelligence, we're in a very sweet spot in the history of the world. I don't think we should take a step back, take a breath, and do our part to get to know who we are, why we chose to be here in this time, and what our work is. You know, what is it that we need to accomplish? That's really important. And it's easy to get pulled into the other direction. So if you're not conscious of what wave you're surfing, you're just going to you might say mental health, especially when give space to the what's in there. And everyone asking me, you know, what do you recommend for this kind of network? I've been in a speaker and I'm a social worker, I've been instructors, and done music and run boards, and the list goes on. And I said, all of the issues, that is the answer. And so in the future, I'd like to have the ability to further people to travel to different parts of the world to see how people like themselves are living the world. How can I speak to you about the possibility and your way of believing, of living in life, of joy? If you haven't experienced it, and that gets perfect home because the sweet spot of where I am today, just realizing that mental health was something that my upbringing was something very dearly close to me. And the complexity of when you love somebody, you want to help them, you want to heal them, but you know you're going to think you can lead them to out of it and still on your own. Finally coming to the acceptance that there's different paths to be taken really makes me fun because there aren't that many resources. And so asking somebody to go on a journey alone, or, you know, and they would usually say to me, what you're saying to me is a fairy tale, I don't see it. And I have to give respect to what it might feel like receiving the fairy tale message and being told with so much love. You can live. This exists when all you've known is the opposite. I think I'd love for people to like whatever the experience. I've always been with friends. Just spiritual. It's like a very spiritual practice for me is to switch roles and be the tree and watch us sitting here like that. Because all of it is alive. All of it is vibration. And it's in there that also feelings.
That's so beautiful. Oh my God. Just when I thought I heard it all, it's the spiritual realm. This woman drops another bomb on me.
And
I love that.
I invite you to that. So when you go out to dinner, right? Literally.
Be the tree. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. When you go out to dinner next, halfway through the dinner, with whoever you're with, just make a quick break. And you're gonna go up and say, "Oh, can you start seeing the switch sides?" This, what I'm gonna ask you to do, is an example of what my life is like. Is an example of what the art forms are like. I'd love to hear from you to know what your experience was. That halfway through the dinner, you switch seats. It's simple as that.
When you say that, I feel like anxious. I feel like anxiety coming on, nervousness coming on, judgment coming on. What are people gonna think? Like, why did I make this person mid-meal switch with me? Like, was someone giving a look? Like, I feel all this judgment. I feel shame. I feel like being like I don't want to be noticed. But it's like I will be noticed.
So,
The waiter or the waitress will wonder, like, is everything okay? So uncomfortable right now. Just thinking,
so uncomfortable. And well, that brings up the journey you like to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. That is hard. Making it comfortable and comfortable. I just want to do tones or the comfortable. And then just take a moment and look around because literally, as we're speaking,
I was thinking that.
let's do it.
You ready?
Let's do it.
Be the Lord would happen. I get to be high and mighty.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! This is different. Even though we weren't like across the table.
You weren't conscious of what you were looking at.
Oh my God! There's a game going on. I didn't even know.
You weren't conscious of the things that it holds. And that's why travel.
You already gave us two beautiful gifts right there. It's like to play this story.
They would switch places. And that is the dance.
Music dance.
That's the dance. And just imagine, right? So when you're in the restaurant, like somebody's face to go on the window, and someone else is seeing instead of conversations. And then you switch.
You love that. You love that.
And it's a way to put into practice. Like it's Trace the sapphire for babies. There's a way to explain that to the whole table, but you gotta swim here for a while. But yeah, it's just the ability to slow down. That's one of the essences I was trying to explain. Is I just tell them, then you give them situation to slow down. In art, there's the positive space and the negative space. So the positive space is the drawing, and the negative space is what's like working around it. Actually has a story. And there are a lot of artists I find. Yeah, the staging. And you'll miss. I'm thinking of the movie Pocahontas. Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the moon? Like all those songs from Pocahontas, the artist. That's cool to me. So how they do with that, but that's for another time. But learning to listen to it. And we found Wheel of Time that we're getting exhausted right now. That puts women back at the center. They're the warriors. They heal. And the most powerful one of women there have the gift of listening to it. And then there
It's on Netflix or what?
Yes.
Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
Thank you for
it's
that.
Intense.
You just keep giving gifts, don't you? I'm like, I can't wait to try all this.
And there's like a dragon. Hey, you're welcome. There's like a dragon child reborn that's supposed to be, and that person realizes that they don't listen to the enemy, they listen to it. And there's this, but my brain is it's an old place. It's so much I want to say. And I think that's what today is. It's the beginning of things. Is what you shared. All of what's in here. So I do believe that when I die, I want to feel tired. And I want to feel like, like that's not. And that I've given all the time.
So I feel like
I feel that pain.
not to say you don't feel emotionally,
For sure. Very important.
maybe you're more aware of it than most people. At least that's been my experience. And yet, you are this beautiful storm. This beautiful storm that, and at the same time, you're an ocean. Like you have these layers, or this depth. Like how trenches within the ocean. So deeper, deeper, deeper. It's just like, just when I think, okay, who's coaching who? You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh. On the way here, Idris was telling me about I'm not gonna remember the name, but there's a volcano in the Pacific Ocean, very active right now. And they monitored it for a while. They expect to run or by the end of the year. But it's the ring of fire. I did some more research and it might not affect the ring of fire. But I
Just
didn't
one second. If this isn't recording, they just show a red like. You keep check. Good. Thank you.
He's a good tank man.
He's
He's
awesome.
got a lot of skills.
Yeah, it does.
And yeah, he was telling me about the ring of fire. Or the volcanoes, like silent active in the Pacific Ocean. It affects West Coast there. That's what that's like the draw with all these apples.
Biggest semicircle of volcanoes underwater.
Yes.
There you go. It's the beauties of underwater. Yeah, like there's we're still discovering that there's mountains, volcanoes, like underwater. I'll tell you something. When I was pregnant, I with sapphire. When you trade it, and I knew that it was so I drink out of the meter. It has been scientifically they make perfect. And I've learned that never so I was under a lot of stress with my relationship, a lot of changes. It's deep and beautiful and hot sun is right now like high stress. Really worried about time of my life, and I said to myself, I put you first. I purpose. Such a bad shot. And also, I want to sure that I kept alive as my body was glittering and saying, "You're losing hope." That's why you have something more. You have to, you have to. And ice maker didn't have enough money for me and Idris to go to the water. So I said, "Hey kiddo, I've done a lot for you. This one's for me, baby." But I don't get to eat the dolphins. We got there, and Dad was like, "Oh crap." Like, why? He said, "You're pregnant. What's the problem?" He said, "You're not going to listen to me anymore." And as soon as I got in the water, Idris is distracted. Go watch him over there. Go.
I just want to listen.
Let's see this guy. He says,
Don't you guys know what it's like to just have your parents be on an interview and you just want to stand behind the camera just watching? Don't you know? That's what I feel.
and we got in the water. We go to immediately stop and we all congregate. Because like prayer. Instantly, every uncle was like of singers to the water. At shoulder though, began to feel emotional, highly emotional. And I just tapped in and said, ask about me. You know who they are. They said, yes, can you speak to my baby? Can you feel water? My patient. You have a girl that is it's okay. You have girl take anything. So they did this. Yeah. And they just came to my belly and started doing it. And usually they won't swim if it because they don't want to harm you, like they don't use the person, but they came together with them and put the truth out there. And I just sort of remember just like letting go, like all the stress. But it definitely was clear that they were really content. And birthing with them is said to increase their their life skyrocketing. For Philippines, yeah. Sure. Smart. I was gonna say the North because I was 50. Walked out on this sat there and it was so hate inside. Closed my eyes and stood there and hear about 12,000. And I just want to say that I do this. And I did hear son of a song. Like the movie. But it was so loud that it didn't be right there. To watch the books. I was sure that she, it existed and was strong, powerful, and tiny. It's never let it go. Anytime I feel unwell, I go to many journeys. You know, I pause a lot because so many stories associated with anybody. So many deep experiences I've had. Knowing that there's even and feeling some sort of melancholy but reverence and reverie that I think it's time for time to dance as well because sometimes dancing is a way that captures.
And I can help with that goal.
You're already healthy. In fact, after this live, we can have a dance if you're open.
Sure, let's do it. Let's do it.
What a beautiful podcast. This is not what I was expecting. And
You're welcome.
we'll do that shortly. Yeah, this is not at all what I was expecting. It's not like I expectation, but it's always a beautiful surprise. You can have conversations, walk time, very deep. And I appreciate that. Because as you said, not everyone
Yes.
goes there. You know what I mean? And it's like, at least for me, I understand I crave that.
I understand.
Oh my god, it just cleans my soul. Yes. My soul is like everything else becomes secondary or tertiary. And it's just a beautiful feeling. Like when I'm standing still, it's like a awareness of who we are in the eternity of space and time. Who we are. I see you and you're seeing me within you. I see
Yes,
you,
and that's
know what
how
I mean?
And
And the sun is beating on us.
I know.
I love it.
I think it's all art. So I think we're all artists. I think love is an art, and I think that's the highest art form. I will tell you more recently, checklist on my bucket, check mark on my bucket list. I've done some life drawing modeling. Yes,
What is
it's
that?
my second
Life
season.
drawing.
Actually, tell me.
I'm getting on something like
Well,
imagine stuff. I don't know what it is.
life drawing modeling is going back to the good old days.
Oh,
So the art, so that they can have life on it and learn how to draw.
so you did the drawing with the movie.
And model.
Yeah.
Yeah, my next date is on the 9th. I think it's amazing that I did it after baby.
Okay, so I have so many questions.
Sure.
One, the first time you decided to do it and you did it, what were you expecting? What were your thoughts, fears, and how is it now? Like, would you recommend to someone?
I'm gonna take on a little bit of a
So
journey with that answer. I wanted to do it forever. I also had a vision to like a 3-second vision of me in a big red dress somewhere that has flamingo and just slowly spitting, but there was a man playing a guitar and I never saw him, but it just stayed with me. That little 3-second vision, and it come up over years and just gave what it was. Um, After my father died, there was a man. He met me in the subway. There's a lot more things to this, but he said, he just walked up to me and said, "Is this something that you've always wanted to do, but you've not done?" I don't know what context this is. You know, good afternoon. He said, "You strike me as a dancer." And he told me of his niece that was in her late 20s. She just started with the National Ballet, quite late for National Ballet. And he said, "Is it flamenco?" Do you know there's a musician down there? I think that's where I'm going. Plays the dynasty. And there's so much more I want to tell you about that. But he said, I think it's time to now. And every year, when my father's death anniversary or birthday comes, somebody in the form of an old man comes to me and blesses me with something like that. The life drawing was the same. But that man said to me, "It's time. I'd love to pay for your first classes." And he did, a stranger. It came to my freshman. And it was a very similar experience with life drawing. Looking around, at arts opportunities, I saw it about word it seemed good. Checked it out, looked into it. Checked it out and looked into it, and
When I went, one, I wanted to make sure I was safe, you know. But as soon as I arrived at the center and I opened the door and I saw all of the art easels, it was like the Lionel Richie Hello. If you've ever seen that video, something renewing and peaceful, just silence happened. Silence happened there. I said, wow, this is going to be special. And I was never nervous because I knew I was going to be in a space where people appreciated the depths. It wasn't about my body. I knew, just knew.
Yeah.
And when he asked me to unroll and to walk up, like some of the women, it was like, and then when I would tell them, like, what's that lady towards doing this? And I said, well, I feel like that's when I should. And as you were saying
Wow.
about us redefining womanhood, and then what a woman is in these times, I said, yeah, why? If you want to draw life, why not now? You know, why not with the
So
shape of
beautiful.
life still?
So revolutionary. You know?
I enjoy it every time I go there. They play great music. The drawings, and to see how people depict me. Really, I feel if you're suffering from any self-confidence issues, if you get into art in some way, dance, um, do this, you know, because when you see how other people interpret you, it's just such a beauty. It's kind of impossible for you to go back to looking at yourself and imagine like all of the drawing works. It didn't matter that I had or curves here or lines. It was actually more exciting to capture the lines and spots. I just felt so good.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's like the protest already. You know, and we made it. What it is, it's not what you're looking at. It's yeah, like besides not a house, but physical. It's really very physical in that moment. Yeah, it's the culture, it's the experience that's a number of people that want to it's like a reference balance.
So much respect.
Yeah,
Be in rooms of respect. I think that's why Japan is calling me too. You know, I've gone through a lot in the last little while, and when I would cry, I also listen to what I cry. Like when you cry, listen to what the tears are trying to say. You know, like there's information in water. So that's gonna take me on a tangent, but let me leave what I was saying and tell you about water because I think that's uh, water holds information, and if you look, flowing means, which is truth, but just imagine that Mother Earth filled with so much water, cycle of water, through rain, through snow, what we eat, what we drink, it all cycles back to the ocean. But Mama is receiving it dark house. So I look at my tears as holy. And when I try to hold space and know why I'm crying. There's a book from I Am Manson where she describes the different areas where tears come out. It's really water and tears and miracle, really. But I give that with reverence because it's information that I'm giving to her. I'm giving to Mom. Have a relationship. And when she receives it, the ocean it goes into that grand baby. And and I literally think that's how we can use people and things and memories. But as we pee, as we anything, all of that water carries information about what our experience is and this is how it can. And it goes back to that. If you don't believe me, as simple as if you're planting in the ground and you spit on seed, When you plant the seed with your stem, it will grow the new trees that I was. This. So when I say, the trees are listening, and what is it? Think of a
That's so
friend.
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like the love. Wow.
Think of a friend
That's so
who has
deep.
never moved. You've ever seen like a homeless man who is always there?
Yeah.
Can you imagine when we see because he sat still? Because they're our friends. Like, can you imagine how many conversations they've had? And they're still here. They don't acknowledge it. But as I'm now looking here and just watching how they're receiving information. We know mushrooms and mycelium, those networks receive information. So I don't think it's that we can't change the world. I think there's different avenues. So we're looking at the physical and thinking that we need to have a career, have a job, hold a certain space, affect a certain amount of people, and go from that to it. How do we listen to the wind? What prayers do we pray? How do we maintain and protect the water that is then recycled to us? Live life, and we shouldn't even be having water go through pipes because after 3 vents, it loses its life. It's dead water in the pipes. So that's why I'm realizing in terms of old traditions, like grandmas, grandpas would always say, just go over there, take baby, okay? Thank you. Um, that when you pour water, you should leave it facility. Should be covered. If you're sleeping, you would leave the water open and it would pour through it. Don't drink it. But if you're going to have water, you're going to things like that, where it's the ancient wisdoms that I didn't quite understand. I'd love to, well, have it be more understood. I think they gave us a little bit more than just the adage. If it was just more than the same, how much more quickly would I utilize that? But of course, as you get older, it starts to make sense. It starts to come together. And that's why I don't feel lucky. I might feel loneliness sometimes, being of such depth, but I'm literally just not alone at any point. And kept right off the train, right anywhere. I've never been embarrassed to cry because I feel like it gives everyone else permission. And it's an exchange of information. I think we turn to networks like Gaia or Gia, encyclopedias and such. I want to know the Akashic record. They're living this. Like, we don't have to do that much. It's literally here. And having had the experience of holding waters and having a baby in my waters and that water break, and we think of astrology. What is it that shapes you as a person? That is it's the moment you flow and speak from the detective waters into the magnetic field of Earth. And wherever it was planetary influence water. We don't plan on it. But it's just water it was a decade cycle. Yeah. But
There's a movie about that.
yeah.
So this interview has gone on so many different tangents,
know.
beautiful tangents.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot often from you, but in a very unique way. I'm very grateful for you showing where you have the good. It's almost like you're like, okay, I was gonna ask you like what advice would you give your younger self, and it's almost like you're doing it through intuitive.
Always. Yeah.
And I appreciate that. I'm sure the audience appreciates that because there's so much you shared with us that we can go back and reflect on, try on. explore, research,
Exactly.
and I really appreciate that. It's, you don't easily get that information unless you're open to it. Because most of them you see on social media, it's like garbage, I would say. Trying not to judge it, but it's like compared to what you just dropped,
Sure.
the gems you dropped, unintended. Um, wow, like I've looked into a lot of things, and conspiracy theories and beyond, and many things that you've mentioned during this podcast. You're hearing for the first time. So thank you so much. And I'm sure people have questions, so please, if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. Comment on what you think of this conversation. If you have questions, you'll get it to Jem. And I'm sure this is not the last we will hear of you.
No.
Because you have come here in a big way for big things, and you're up to big things. And that is who you are. And I'm, again, very honored, very humbled that we've had this opportunity for this live, and I look forward to the next one. And I'm sure folks will be like, wow, this was different.
Always, always, absolutely. And I'll make sure that we speak again and you know where to find me and you know what upcoming works because there's a lot to share. We should share.
So much love to you, and namaste once again. I feel like you're the you're the representative of Pachamama on Earth. You're the diplomat sent by Mother Earth. That's the feeling I'm getting.
I must say this.
Please.
Then there's the nature Bama. So good. Felt very near. And that is such an experience like ayahuasca. It is very, and it's one that in all of the instances that could have been, this name was given. Nailing all of the things that tie it all together. And Jarima is
Goosebumps. Culmination,
always.
Circle.
I would say just one more thing.
Yes.
It's that you don't need to know the path or understand what's happening truly, but if you trust that it's a puzzle that we're working on over time, and you just keep those pieces with you, they always fit.
Yes. And one other thing I want to add to this is that if you know Oprah or Oprah's listening to this, Soul Sundays, this is what you're missing. All right. So thank you guys. Until next time, I'm Ali. This is Jem. Lots
One
of love.
love.
One love.
Mwah.
All right. Let me stop it.